Imagine this. Your mind right now is a magnet, but instead of drawing in wealth opportunities and the life you dream of, it's pushing them away. Why? Because doubt, fear, and procrastination have programmed your brain to repel abundance. What if in the next hour you could flip that switch? What if you could train your brain to magnetize money instantly, not through get-rich-quick schemes, but through mindset mastery, relentless discipline, and the small daily actions that stack into extraordinary results? This isn't hype. This is transformation. Are you ready to face the excuses holding you back? Because the wealth you crave is already circling you. It's time to pull it in. Listen closely. You didn't click this video by accident. Deep down, you know there's more out there for you. More money, more freedom, more impact. But let's be honest, most people dream of wealth, yet wake up to the same grind. Why? It's not your circumstances, it's your brain. Science proves it. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself, means you can train it like a muscle. From Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich to modern TED Talks by psychologists like Carol Dweck, the message is undeniable. Your thoughts shape your reality. But attraction isn't passive, it's active discipline. Picture yourself right now, bills piling up, ideas swirling in your head but never acted on. That fear of failure, it's a lie your brain tells to keep you safe. Procrastination, it's the thief of time. As Benjamin Franklin warned, stealing your potential one, I'll do it tomorrow at a time. And perfectionism, it's the perfect excuse to never start. Today, we're tearing down those walls. We're diving into the psychology of wealth attraction, how your subconscious, shaped by daily habits, literally pulls opportunities toward you. Think about the greats. Elon Musk didn't stumble into billions. He trained his brain to see possibilities where others saw obstacles. Oprah Winfrey didn't rise from poverty by chance. She affirmed gratitude and action daily. You can do the same. Here's your first micro action. Pause this video, grab a pen, and write down one excuse that's blocking your money flow. Go ahead, do it now. Done. That's your first win. That's the spark. Now let's fan it into a flame. As we go deeper, hold this truth. Consistency beats motivation every single time. Small actions compound into extraordinary results. Your daily choices today shape your future wealth. Even when it feels impossible, discipline outlasts fleeting enthusiasm. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Napoleon Hill said that, and it's not just a quote, it's a law of the universe. What wealth are you conceiving in your mind right now? Hold that vision tight, because we're about to confront the shadows, keeping it out of reach. Let's get real. Facing your fears isn't optional. It's the gateway to magnetizing money. Procrastination, that silent saboteur, is rooted in fear. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of judgment. Neuroscience backs this. Your amygdala, the brain's fear center, hijacks rational thought, flooding your system with cortisol that screams, stay safe. But safety is the enemy of wealth. Staying comfortable keeps you broke. Mel Robbins, in her 5-Second Rule podcast, teaches us that hesitation kills dreams. Count backward, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and act. That simple trick bypasses the fear loop. Eric Thomas roars it best. When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. But most of us are suffocating under excuses. I'm too busy. I'm not ready. Let's get real. What if I fail? Facing your fears isn't optional. It's the gateway to magnetizing money. Procrastination, that silent saboteur, is rooted in fear. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of judgment. Neuroscience backs this. Your amygdala, the brain's fear center, hijacks rational thought, flooding your system with cortisol that screams, stay safe. But safety is the enemy of wealth. Staying comfortable keeps you broke. Mel Robbins, in her 5-Second Rule podcast, teaches us that hesitation kills dreams. Count backward, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and act. That simple trick bypasses the fear loop. Eric Thomas roars it best. When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. But most of us are suffocating under excuses. I'm too busy. I'm not ready. What if I fail? Sound familiar? Let's break these down. Procrastination isn't laziness, it's avoidance. A 2018 study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that chronic procrastinators often lack lack self-compassion, trapping themselves in a cycle of inaction. Here's how to break it. Identify your triggers. Overwhelmed by big tasks, chunk them into 2-minute starters. Cluttered environment, clear one desk corner today. Social media stealing focus, set a 10-minute timer for scrolling, then cut it off. Here's a real story from our community. One viewer commented, "I delayed my side hustle for years, waiting for the perfect moment. Your videos pushed me to launch Messy. Now it's bringing in $500 a month." That could be you. Perfectionism is just procrastination in disguise. As Voltaire said, the best is the enemy of the good. Done is better than perfect. Feel that? That sting of past inconsistencies, that burnout from starting and stopping? It's real. But here's the hope. Neuroscience shows that dopamine from small completions rewires your brain for action. Start messy, show up daily, and momentum will follow. What excuse are you clinging to right now that's delaying your wealth? Pause this video and answer honestly. Accountability starts in this moment. Excuses don't stop at fear. They extend to your environment. Blaming others, the economy, or bad luck, that's a trap. Jim Rohn said it best. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If your circle normalizes mediocrity, money will flee. It's time to audit who and what surrounds you. Here's a micro action to lock in now. List one environmental factor, maybe a negative friend, a cluttered workspace, or endless social media that's draining your focus. Commit to addressing it today. Write it in the comments below to hold yourself accountable. Today I'm cutting out this to magnetize my wealth. This community thrives on shared commitment. Your action inspires others. Let's talk about a woman named Sarah. She was stuck, working a dead-end job, dreaming of starting her own business. But every day she'd come home, scroll through social media, and tell herself, tomorrow. Sound familiar? One day she stumbled on a podcast by Tony Robbins. He said, if you're not growing, you're dying. That hit her like a lightning bolt. She started small, 5 minutes a day, researching her business idea. Then 10 minutes writing a plan. Within 6 months, she launched a small online store. Today, it's her full-time income. Why? Because she stopped waiting for permission and started acting. That's the power of small wins. Psychology tells us that every tiny action releases dopamine, reinforcing the habit loop. Your brain starts craving progress. Napoleon Hill called it definiteness of purpose. You don't need to know every step, just the next one. What's your next step? Maybe it's signing up for that course you've been eyeing. Maybe it's emailing a potential mentor. Or maybe it's as simple as saying the truth. Discipline isn't sexy, but it's unstoppable. Motivation comes and goes like the tide, but discipline is the anchor that holds you steady. A 2019 study from the University of Pennsylvania showed that self-control predicts success better than IQ or talent. Think about that. It's not about being the smartest. It's about showing up when it's hard. Here's another story. John, a single dad, wanted to invest in real estate but kept saying, I don't have the time. He was paralyzed by fear of making the wrong move. Then he heard a TED Talk by Angela Duckworth on grit. She said, effort counts twice. John started small, reading 1 article a day about real estate. Then he attended a free seminar. Within a year, he'd bought his first rental property. Now he owns 3. He didn't wait for confidence. He built it through action. What's your version of John's story? What's the one thing you've been delaying that could unlock your wealth? Don't overthink it. Write it down now. Share it in the comments if you're brave enough. This community is your accountability partner. When you see others committing, it lights a fire under you. Let's pause for a moment. Close your eyes. Visualize the wealth you want. Not just the money, but the freedom, the impact, the legacy. See it clearly. Feel it. That's not a fantasy. It's a blueprint. Your brain is a magnet, and every thought you hold, every action you take, pulls that vision closer. But it starts with facing the truth. Here's a truth bomb. You're not stuck because you lack ability. You're stuck because you haven't decided to move. Decision is the spark. Discipline is the fuel. As we move forward, we'll dive into taking 100% responsibility for your life, shifting from a victim mindset to a creator mindset. But for now, know this. Every excuse you drop is a step closer to the wealth you're destined for. Your brain is ready to rewire. You're ready to magnetize. Let's talk about the power of starting small. The Japanese concept of Kaizen, continuous improvement through tiny steps, has transformed business businesses and lives. Apply it to your money. If you want to save, start with $1 a day. If you want to earn more, spend 5 minutes daily learning a new skill. These aren't just actions, they're votes for the person you're becoming. As James Clear says in Atomic Habits, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Here's a challenge. For the next 24 hours, commit to one micro action that aligns with your wealth vision. Maybe it's skipping that extra coffee and saving the $5. Maybe it's sending one email to a potential client. Whatever it is, do it. Then come back to the comments and tell us, I did it. That's how you build momentum. That's how you train your brain to magnetize money. We're just getting started. The path to wealth isn't a sprint. It's a marathon of small, deliberate steps. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need all the answers. You just need to start. As Eric Thomas says, pain is temporary, but quitting lasts forever. So don't quit on yourself. Not today, not ever. What's the one action you're committing to right now? Pause and answer. This isn't just a video. It's a moment to decide who you're going to be. Your brain is listening. Your future is watching. No accident. You're here because you're ready to confront the shadows holding you back from the wealth you deserve. Those shadows, they're not just random thoughts. They're fears, procrastination, and excuses that have built walls around your potential. But today, we're tearing them down. We're diving deep into the psychology of why you hesitate, why you delay, and how to break free. Because when you train your brain to face these enemies, you don't just attract money. You become a magnet for opportunities, success, and a life that feels unstoppable. Let's start with fear. It's the root of every excuse. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. Neuroscience tells us your brain is wired to protect you. Your amygdala, that primal fear center, pumps cortisol through your veins, screaming, don't take the risk. It's why you freeze when it's time to pitch that idea, start that business, or even ask for a raise. But here's the truth. Fear isn't your enemy. It's your signal. It's proof you're on the edge of something big. As Susan Jeffers said, feel the fear and do it anyway. That's where wealth lives, on the other side of discomfort. Think about it. Every successful person you admire, Oprah, Bezos, even your neighbor who built a thriving side hustle, they all felt fear. The difference? They didn't let it paralyze them. They moved. A 2017 study from Harvard Business Review found that high performers don't have less fear. They're just better at acting despite it. So how do you do that? Start small. Break the task into something so tiny it feels ridiculous. Want to start investing? Don't aim for a full portfolio today. Just open an account. Want to launch a business? Don't write a 50-page plan. Just sketch one idea on a napkin. Action kills fear. Motion creates momentum. Now let's talk about procrastination, the thief of you, or dreams. It's not laziness, it's avoidance. You're not putting off that task because you're incapable. You're avoiding the pain of starting. Mel Robbins nails it with her 5-second rule. When you feel that hesitation, count backward, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and move. It's like hitting the override button on your brain's fear circuit. Try it right now. Think of one thing you've been delaying. Maybe it's emailing a client or signing up for a course. Count down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and commit to doing it today. Write it in the comments. I'm doing this today. That's your accountability. That's your first step to rewiring your brain. Here's a real story. Lisa, a single mom from our community, dreamed of starting a blog but kept saying, I don't have time. Sound familiar? She was stuck, scrolling social media, comparing herself to others. Then she heard Eric Thomas say, you don't get what you want, you get what you work for. That hit her hard. She started with 5 minutes a day, just writing one paragraph. Within 3 months, her blog was live. Today, it's earning her $1,000 a month. Why? Because she stopped waiting for the perfect moment and started messy. You can too. Perfectionism is procrastination's sneaky cousin. It's the lie that says, if it's not flawless, it's not worth doing. But perfection is a trap. Voltaire said, the best is the enemy of the good. Done is better than perfect. Think about the iPhone. Apple didn't wait for the perfect phone. They launched, iterated, and improved. You don't need a perfect plan to start attracting wealth. You need action. Imperfect, messy, real action. action. What's the cost of waiting? A 2019 study in psychological science found that chronic procrastinators earn less, have worse health, and report lower life satisfaction. That's the price of excuses. But here's the flip side. Every time you act, your brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical that reinforces the habit. Small wins stack up. They rewire your neural pathways, making action easier over time. That's how you train your brain to magnetize money, by choosing right now to delay your wealth. Pause this video and answer honestly. Maybe it's I don't know enough or I'm not ready. Write it down. Own it. Because the moment you name it, you take away its power. This is your accountability moment. Share it in the comments if you're ready to let it go. My excuse is this, and I'm done with it. Excuses aren't just in your head. They're fed by your environment. Jim Rohn said, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If your circle complains, criticizes, or settles for less, they're dragging you down. Audit your environment. Who's in your ear? Friends who say, why bother? Or mentors who push you to grow? What's on your screen? Endless news feeds or educational podcasts? Your brain absorbs what you surround it with. Choose wisely. Here's a micro action. Identify one environmental factor draining your focus. Maybe it's a negative friend, a cluttered desk, or mindless scrolling. Commit to changing it today. Clear one corner of your workspace. Mute one toxic group chat. Replace 10 minutes of social media with a podcast like The School of Greatness by Lewis Howes. Write your commitment in the comments. Today, I'm cutting out this to magnetize my wealth. This community is your accountability squad. Your action inspires others. Let's talk about David, a guy who was drowning in excuses. He wanted to start a fitness coaching business, but kept saying, the market's too crowded. He'd watch others succeed, feel jealous, and do nothing. Then he heard a TED Talk by Carol Dweck on growth mindset. She said, the view you adopt for yourself profoundly affects the way you lead your life. David decided to stop blaming the market and start acting. He began with one Instagram post a day sharing fitness tips. Within a year, he had 10 clients. Now he's booked solid. Why? He stopped waiting for permission and started building. That's the power of action over excuses. Every step you take sends a signal to your brain. I am capable. I am in control. A 2020 study from Stanford showed that small, consistent actions increase self-efficacy, the belief in your ability to succeed. That belief is magnetic. It pulls opportunities toward you. So what's your next step? Maybe it's downloading a budgeting app. Maybe it's researching one investment. Don't overcomplicate it. Just do it. Success is not the absence of obstacles. It's the courage to push through them. That's from Brendan Burchard. Let that sink in. What obstacle is standing between you and your wealth? Name it. Face it. Because every time you do, you're training your brain to see possibilities instead of problems. Let's go deeper. Excuses often hide in comparison. You see someone on social media with a fancy car, a big house, and think, I'll never get there. But comparison is a choice. Instead of envying, study. What did they do? How did they start? Most millionaires didn't begin with wealth. They began with decisions. Warren Buffett started investing as a teenager with pocket change. He didn't wait for millions. He acted with what he had. You can too. Here's another micro action. For the next 24 hours, replace 1 hour of mindless scrolling with learning. Watch a YouTube video on financial literacy. Read one chapter of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Listen to a podcast by Anik Singhal. Knowledge isn't enough. It's what you do with it. Write in the comments, I'm replacing 1 hour of distraction with 1 hour of growth. That's how you shift your environment. A teacher who wanted to start a tutoring business but kept saying, I'm not qualified enough. She was paralyzed by imposter syndrome. Then she stumbled on a quote by Zig Ziglar. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. She started offering free tutoring sessions to build confidence. Word spread. Within 6 months, she had a waiting list. Today, she's quit her job to run her business full time. Why? She faced her fear and took the first step. Your brain is like a muscle. The more you use it to act, the stronger it gets. Every action, no matter how small, rewires your neural pathways for success. That's why consistency beats motivation. Motivation is a spark. Consistency is the fire. A 2018 study from the University of Chicago found that habits formed through repetition are more predictive of long-term success than bursts of effort. So show up daily, even when you don't feel like it. What's one small action you can take right now to move toward wealth? Maybe it's setting a reminder to review your budget tomorrow. Maybe it's emailing one potential collaborator. Pause and decide. Write it in the comments. My next step is this. This isn't just a video. It's a movement. Your commitment inspires others in this community to act. As we move forward, we'll dive into taking 100% responsibility, shifting from a victim mindset to a creator mindset. But for now, remember, every excuse you drop is a brick removed from the wall between you and your wealth. You're not stuck because you lack ability. You're stuck because you haven't decided to move. Decide now. Your brain is ready to magnetize money, and that means something. You're not just watching, you're choosing to rewrite your story. We've faced the fears and excuses holding you back, but now it's time to step into something bigger. Responsibility. Not the kind that weighs you down, but the kind that sets you free. Taking 100% ownership of your life is the key to magnetizing money, because when you stop blaming and start claiming, you become a creator of your future. Today, we're diving into what it means to own your choices, your mindset, and your wealth. This is where the real transformation begins. Let's start with the hard truth. Nobody's coming to save you. Not your boss, not your family, not the economy. The moment you realize that, something shifts. You stop waiting for permission, for luck, for the right time. You start seeing every challenge as a chance to grow. That's the ownership mindset. It's not about controlling everything. It's about controlling what you can. Your thoughts, your actions, your response to life's chaos. As Stephen Covey said in The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, I am not a product of my circumstances. I am a product of my decisions. Picture this. You're stuck in a job you hate, barely making ends meet. It's easy to point fingers at your boss for not promoting you, at the market for being tough, at your past for not setting you up better. But blaming keeps you powerless. Ownership flips the script. It says, I can't change my boss, but I can upskill. I can't fix the economy, but I can start a side hustle. I can't rewrite my past, but I can shape my future. That's power. That's magnetic. A 2016 study in the Journal of Applied Psychology found that people with a high sense of personal responsibility, those who believe they control their outcomes, achieve more, earn more, and report higher life satisfaction. Why? Because they don't waste energy on what's out of their control. They focus on what's in their hands. So ask yourself, where are you giving away your power? Maybe it's blaming your lack of time, your lack of resources, or even your own doubts. Pause right now and write down one thing you've been blaming for your financial struggles. Be honest. Naming it is the first step to owning it. Let's talk about Alex, a guy from our community who is drowning in debt. He blamed everyone, his parents for not teaching him about money, his job for underpaying him, the system for being rigged. Then he heard Tony Robbins say, the only thing keeping you from getting what you want is the story you keep telling yourself. That hit like a thunderbolt. Alex decided to take ownership. He stopped complaining and started learning. He read one financial blog a day. He cut one unnecessary subscription. Within a year, he'd paid off $10,000 in debt and started investing. Why? He stopped being a victim and became a creator. The victim mindset is seductive. It's easy to say, life's unfair, and stay stuck. But victims don't magnetize money. Creators do. The creator mindset says, I'm responsible for my results. It's not about ignoring reality. It's about responding to it. Lost your job? A victim sulks. A creator updates their resume and networks. Market crashed. A victim panics. A creator studies trends and finds new opportunities. As Eric Thomas says, you don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for. Here's your first micro action. Decide one area of your life where you'll take full responsibility today. Maybe it's your spending habits. Track every dollar you spend for the next 24 hours. Maybe it's your skills. Commit to learning one new thing this week, like how to create a budget or negotiate a deal. Write it in the comments. Today, I'm taking ownership of this. This community is your accountability squad. When you share, to be found playing small and settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. Nelson Mandela said that, and it's a wake-up call. What are you settling for right now? Pause and reflect. Are you settling for a paycheck that's too small, a dream that's on hold, a life that feels safe but unfulfilled? Ownership means refusing to settle. It means choosing to act even when it's hard. Let's break this down. Ownership starts with your mindset. Carol Dweck's research on growth mindset shows that people who believe they can improve through effort outperform those who think their abilities are fixed. That's why taking responsibility is so powerful. It rewires your brain to see challenges as opportunities. Made a bad investment? Don't beat yourself up. Learn from it. Missed a deadline? Don't make excuses. Adjust your process. Every setback is a setup for a comeback if you own it. Here's another story. Maria, a nurse, wanted to start a side hustle selling handmade jewelry, but kept saying, I don't have the skills. She blamed her lack of business knowledge. Then she watched a TED Talk by Angela Duckworth on grit. Duckworth said, effort counts twice. Maria decided to own her learning. She spent 10 minutes a day watching YouTube tutorials on e-commerce. She launched her first product imperfectly. Today, her side hustle brings in $2,000 a month. Why? She took responsibility for her growth instead of waiting to feel ready. Your brain loves ownership because it thrives on control. A 2020 study from Stanford found that people who feel in control of their actions experience less stress and more motivation. That's why blaming feels heavy. It robs you of power. Ownership feels light. It gives you wings. So where can you take control today? Maybe it's saying no to an impulse purchase. Maybe it's scheduling 1 hour to work on your dream. Small choices compound into big results. What's one area of your life where you've been playing the victim? Pause and answer. Maybe it's your finances, your career, or even your self-talk. Write it down. Share it in the comments if you're ready. I'm done blaming this. I'm taking ownership. This is your moment to shift from victim to creator. This community is watching, cheering you on. Let's talk about systems. Ownership isn't just a mindset, it's a habit. James Clear in Atomic Habits says, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Want to magnetize money? Build systems that support your responsibility. Set a daily reminder to check your bank account. Block 15 minutes every morning to learn a new skill. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to grow. Your systems are your scaffolding. They hold you up. Create one simple system today to support your wealth journey. Maybe it's a daily journal where you write one financial goal. Maybe it's a weekly check-in with a mentor. Write it in the comments. My system is this. When you share, you're not just committing, you're inspiring others in this community to build their own systems. Let's look at John, a freelancer who was always too busy to grow his business. He blamed clients, deadlines, life. Then he heard Mel Robbins say, you're one decision away from a completely different life. John decided to own his time. He started waking up 30 minutes earlier to pitch new clients. He tracked his income weekly. Within 6 months, he doubled his rates. Why? He took responsibility for his schedule and his results. Ownership also means owning your mistakes. Nobody's perfect. A 2018 study from the University of Michigan found that people who reflect on their failures and learn from them are more likely to succeed long term. So you overspent this month? Don't hide from it. Review your budget and adjust. You pitched an idea and got rejected? Don't quit. Refine it and try again. As Thomas Edison said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. What's one mistake you've made with money that you can learn from? Pause and think. Maybe it was a bad purchase, a missed opportunity, or ignoring advice. Write it down. Share it in the comments. My lesson is this. Owning your mistakes isn't weakness, it's strength. It's how you grow. Let's wrap this with a challenge. For the next 24 hours, act like you're 100% responsible for your wealth. No excuses, no blame. If you slip, own it and reset. Notice how it feels. Notice the power. Notice the clarity. This is what it means to be a creator. As we move forward, we'll contrast the victim and creator mindsets even deeper, showing you how to build habits that make wealth inevitable. But for now, remember, you don't magnetize money by waiting for it. You magnetize it by owning every choice you make. What's one choice you're making today to own your wealth? Pause and decide. Write it in the comments. My choice is this. This isn't just a video, it's a turning point. Your brain is ready, your future is waiting. Still pushing, and that's no small thing. You've faced your fears, shattered excuses, and claimed responsibility for your life. Now we're going deeper into the battle between two mindsets that determine whether you stay stuck or soar. The victim mindset versus the creator mindset. One keeps you chained to scarcity, the other unlocks the door to wealth. This isn't just about money, it's about who you choose to be. Today we're drawing a line in the sand. You're either a victim who waits for life to happen or a creator who makes it happen. Let's dive in and decide which one you'll feed, because only one will magnetize the money and life you're destined for. Let's break it down. The victim mindset is a trap. It's the voice that says, life's unfair, I'm not lucky, or the system's rigged. It's seductive because it feels safe. Blaming others, the economy, your boss, your past lets you off the hook. But here's the cost. It strips you of power. Victims wait for handouts, for miracles, for someone to fix their problems. They see obstacles as proof they can't win. A 2019 study from the University of California found that people with a victim mentality report lower motivation and higher stress. Why? Because they focus on what's wrong, not what's possible. Now contrast that with the creator mindset. Creators don't wait, they build. They see obstacles as challenges to solve, not walls to stop them. When a creator loses a job, they don't sulk. They network, upskill, or start a side hustle. When the market crashes, they don't panic. They study trends and find opportunities. As Tony Robbins says, the only limit to your impact is your imagination and commitment. Creators don't ask, why me? They ask, what's next? That shift in thinking is magnetic. It pulls wealth, solutions, and progress toward you. Picture this. Two people, same situation. Stu, cheek in a dead-end job, barely covering bills. The victim says, my boss doesn't value me. I'll never get ahead. They stay, complain, and do nothing. The creator says, this job isn't my future. I'll make my own path. They spend 10 minutes a day learning a new skill, networking, or building a side project. Within a year, the victim is still stuck. The creator, they're launching a business or landing a better job. The difference isn't luck, it's mindset. Here's a real story. Meet Sam, a viewer from our community. He was drowning in credit card debt, blaming his low-paying job and bad luck. He'd scroll social media, envying others' success. Then he heard Mel Robbins say, nobody's coming to save you, save yourself. That was his wake-up call. Sam shifted to a creator mindset. He stopped blaming his job and started a side hustle selling custom t-shirts online. He didn't know everything, he just started. He watched free YouTube tutorials, made his first sale, and reinvested every penny. Today, his side hustle earns more than his day job. Why? He chose to create, not complain. What's your mindset right now? Pause and reflect. Are you leaning toward victim, blaming circumstances, waiting for a break? Or are you leaning toward creator, taking action, however small, to shape your future? Write it down. Be honest. Share it in the comments. I'm choosing the creator mindset by doing this. This community thrives on accountability. Your choice inspires others. The victim mindset thrives on external validation. It's waiting for someone to say, you're good enough, or for circumstances to align perfectly. But creators don't wait for permission. They validate themselves through action. A 2020 study from Stanford showed that people who take initiative, even in small ways, build self-efficacy, the belief they can succeed. That belief is a magnet for money. It's why creators attract opportunities because they're already moving. First, own your story. Your past, whether it's a tough childhood, bad decisions, or missed chances, doesn't define you. It informs you. Creators use their story as fuel, not an anchor. Oprah Winfrey grew up in poverty, faced abuse, and was told she'd never make it in media. A victim would have believed those voices. Oprah created her own path, starting with small radio gigs, building skills, and refusing to quit. Today, she's a billionaire. Why? She owned her story and wrote the next chapter. Here's a micro action. Rewrite one part of your story today. Instead of, I failed at that business, say, I learned what doesn't work and now I'm stronger. Instead of, I don't have enough money, say, I'm building wealth one step at a time. Write your new story in the comments. My new story is this. When you reframe your past, you rewire your brain for creation. Second, focus on what you can control. Victims obsess over what they can't. Other people's opinions, the economy, luck. Creators focus on their choices. Can't afford a fancy course? Watch free videos. Can't change your boss? Change your skills. As Stephen Covey says, proactive people focus on their circle of influence. What's in your circle today? Maybe it's saving $5 this week. Maybe it's emailing one potential client. Take one action now. Write it in the comments. I'm controlling this today. Your commitment fuels this community. Success is not the absence of problems. It's the courage to work through them. Brendan Burchard said that, and it's a truth bomb. What problem are you facing right now? Debt? A stagnant career? Self-doubt? Pause and name it. Creators don't run from problems, they solve them. Share it in the comments. My problem is this, and I'm facing it. That's the creator mindset in action. Let's talk about Emily, a single mom who felt trapped. In a low-paying retail job, she used to say, "The system's against me." Classic victim mindset. Then she heard Eric Thomas roar, "You owe you." Emily decided to stop waiting for a raise and create her own income. She started selling baked goods to coworkers, just one batch a week. She used free social media to promote her treats. Within a year, she had a small catering business. Why? She stopped blaming the system and started building her own. The creator mindset thrives on action, not perfection. A 2018 study from the Journal of Behavioral Decision Making found that people who take imperfect action, starting before they feel ready, are more likely to succeed than those who wait for ideal conditions. So what's one imperfect action you can take today? Maybe it's posting about your side hustle on social media. Maybe it's signing up for a free webinar. Don't overthink it. Just do it. Write it in the comments. My imperfect action is this. This community is your accountability partner. Surround themselves with growth. Victims hang with complainers. Creators seek out builders. Jim Rohn's wisdom rings true. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Audit your circle. Are they lifting you up or pulling you down? If your friends mock your dreams, it's time to find new ones. Join online communities. Follow creators on X. Listen to podcasts like The Ed Milet Show. Your environment shapes your mindset. Choose one that fuels creation. Here's another micro action. Connect with one person who inspires you today. Send a message to a mentor, comment on a creator's post, or join a group aligned with your goals. Write it in the comments. I'm connecting with this person to grow. When you share, you're building a network of creators around you. Let's talk about systems again. Creators don't rely on willpower. They build systems. James Clear says, habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Want to magnetize money? Create systems that make action automatic. Set a daily alarm to review your budget. Block 15 minutes every morning to learn a new skill. Replace 1 hour of TV with reading The Millionaire Next Door. These small systems stack up, turning you into a creator by default. What's one system you can start today? Maybe it's a daily savings tracker. Maybe it's a weekly goal review. Pause and decide. Write it in the comments. My system is this. This isn't just about you. It's about inspiring this community to create their own systems. Finally, creators embrace failure as feedback. Victims see failure as proof they're not enough. Thomas Edison didn't see 10,000 failed experiments. He saw 10,000 lessons. A 2020 study from MIT found that entrepreneurs who learn from early failures are more likely to succeed in future ventures. So you tried a side hustle and it flopped? Don't quit. Analyze what went wrong and try again. You invested and lost money? Don't hide, study the market, and adjust. Creators turn setbacks into stepping stones. What's one failure you can reframe as feedback? Pause and think. Maybe it was a bad investment or a rejected pitch. Write it down. Share it in the comments. My failure taught me this. Owning your failures is how you grow into a creator. As we move forward, we'll dive into building habits that make wealth inevitable. Repetition that transforms not just your skills, but your identity. But for now, remember, you're not a victim of your circumstances. You're a creator of your future. Every choice you make, every action you take is a vote for who you're becoming. Choose the creator mindset. Choose to magnetize money. Choose you. What's one choice you're making right now to be a creator? Pause and decide. Write it in the comments. I'm creating my future by doing this. This is your moment. Your brain is ready. Your wealth is waiting. And that's proof you're choosing to be a creator. You've faced your fears, dropped excuses, and claimed responsibility. You've embraced the creator mindset. Now it's time to build the engine that drives wealth. Habits, not big flashy moves, but small deliberate actions repeated daily. These habits don't just change what you do, they change who you are. Today we're diving into the power of habit building and repetition, the framework that transforms dreams into reality. Because when you train your brain with consistent action, you don't just attract money, you become a magnet for it. Let's start with a truth. Success isn't about one big moment. It's about showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it. James Clear in Atomic Habits says, habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Just like a small investment grows over time, small actions stack up to create massive results. Want to magnetize money? It's not about a single windfall. It's about the daily choices that build your wealth muscle. Repetition doesn't just build skills, it builds your identity. Think about it. Every millionaire, every entrepreneur, entrepreneur, every person you admire, they're not special, they're consistent. Warren Buffett didn't become a billionaire overnight. He read financial reports daily for decades. Oprah didn't build an empire by chance. She showed up, prepared, and delivered every single day. A 2018 study from the University of Chicago found that habits formed through repetition are the strongest predictor of long-term success. Why? Because habits make action automatic. They turn I should into I do. So how do you build habits that magnetize money? Start small, ridiculously small. Want to save more? Start with $1 a day. Want to grow a business? Spend 5 minutes a day researching your market. Want to invest? Read 1 article a week about stocks. The key is what psychologists call the habit loop. Cue, routine, reward. Pick a cue, like setting a daily alarm at 7 a.m. Make the routine simple, like writing one business idea. Reward yourself with something small, like a check mark on a tracker. This loop rewires your brain for action. Here's a real story from our community. Meet Tara, a teacher who wanted to start a side hustle but kept saying, "I'm too tired after work." She was stuck, scrolling Netflix instead of building her future. Then she heard Mel Robbins say, "If you're not impressed with the picture of your life, get back in the dark room." Tara started small, 10 minutes a day creating content for her online course. She used her morning coffee as a cue, wrote 1 lesson, and rewarded herself with a quick walk. Within 6 months, her course was live, earning her $1,500 a month. Why? She built a habit that stuck. Your first micro action. Pick one tiny habit to start today. Maybe it's saving $2 a day. Maybe it's reading 1 page of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Make it so small you can't fail. Write it in the comments. My daily habit is this. This community is your accountability squad. Your commitment inspires others to act. Success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. Robert Collier said that, and it's a law of wealth. What small effort are you repeating today? Pause and think. What's one action you can commit to daily to move toward your wealth? Share it in the comments. My daily effort is this. Let's hold each other accountable. Let's talk about repetition. It's not sexy, but it's powerful. Repetition transforms your brain. Neuroscience shows that repeating an action strengthens neural pathways, making it easier over time. It's why brushing your teeth feels automatic. You've done it thousands of times. Apply that to wealth. Review your budget daily. Reach out to one new act weekly. Post 1 piece of content a month. These actions don't just build skills, they build you into a person who attracts money. First, stack your habits. Charles Duhigg in The Power of Habit talks about habit stacking, pairing a new habit with an existing one. Already drink coffee every morning? Use that as your cue to write down 1 financial goal. Already check your phone? Use that moment to read 1 money tip. Stack a new habit onto something you already do. It's like sneaking vegetables into a smoothie your brain barely notices. Second, track your progress. A 2019 study from the Journal of Behavioral Medicine found that people who track their habits are 73% more likely to stick with them. Get a notebook, an app, or even a sticky note. Mark every day you complete your habit. Seeing those check marks triggers dopamine, making you crave more. Want to save money? Track every dollar saved. Want to grow a business? Track every email sent. Tracking turns repetition into a game you want to win. Let's talk about Mike, a delivery driver who dreamed of starting a podcast but kept saying, "I don't know where to start." He was overwhelmed, stuck in analysis paralysis. Then he heard Eric Thomas say, "You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great." Mike decided to build a habit. He started with 5 minutes a day recording his thoughts. He stacked it with his evening commute, using voice memos while driving. Within 3 months, he launched his podcast. Today, it's got 1,000 listeners and growing. Why? He made repetition his superpower. What's one habit you can stack today? Pause and decide. Maybe it's reviewing your expenses while eating breakfast. Maybe it's learning a new skill during your lunch break. Write it in the comments. I'm stacking this habit. When you share, you're not just committing, you're inspiring this community to build their own habits. Repetition also builds identity. Every time you act, you're voting for the person you want to become. James Clear says, every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. Want to be wealthy? Act like it. Save daily, even if it's pennies. Learn daily, even if it's one article. Network daily, even if it's one message. These votes add up, transforming you into someone who naturally attracts money. Here's a micro action. Identify one action that aligns with your wealthy self. Maybe it's saying no to an impulse buy. Maybe it's emailing a potential collaborator. Do it today. Write it in the comments. My wealthy action is this. This community thrives on shared momentum. Your vote inspires others. Let's talk about resistance. Building habits isn't easy. Your brain will fight you. That's normal. A 2020 study from University College London found that it takes an average of 66 days to form a new habit. That's 66 days of showing up, even when you're tired, even when you doubt yourself. The trick? Make it harder to quit than to keep going. Want to save money? Automate a $5 transfer to savings every week? Want to learn? Subscribe to a finance newsletter so it lands in your inbox. Make action
Sarah,
the path
a
of
graphic
least
designer,
resistance. Wanted to freelance but kept procrastinating. She'd say, I'm not ready. Then she heard Tony Robbins say, if you're not growing, you're dying. Sarah started a habit, 10 minutes a day, pitching clients. She used her evening tea as a cue, sent one email, and tracked it on a calendar. Some days, she got no replies, but she kept going. Within a year, she had enough clients to quit her job. Why? Repetition turned her into a freelancer. What's one habit you're committing to for the next 66 days? Pause and think. It could be as simple as saving $1 a day or reading one money tip daily. Write it in the comments. My 66-day habit is this. This is your accountability moment. Share it and inspire this community. Finally, celebrate your wins. Your brain loves rewards. A 2017 study from the Journal of Neuroscience found that celebrating small victories boosts motivation. Finished your daily habit? Give yourself a fist bump, a check mark, or even a quick I did it out loud. These micro rewards keep you hooked on repetition. They train your brain to crave progress, making wealth magnetic. What's one way you'll celebrate your small wins? Maybe it's a high five to yourself. Maybe it's sharing your progress in the comments. I did this today. Pause and decide. This isn't just a video, it's a transformation. Your habits are building the person who magnetizes money. As we move forward, we'll dive into persistence, how to keep going when doubt, exhaustion, and the blind zones of progress try to stop you. But for now, remember, every habit you build, every action you repeat is a brick in the foundation of your wealth. You're not just doing, you're becoming. Start small, show up daily, and watch your brain become a magnet for money. What's one habit you're starting right now? Write it in the comments. My habit is this. Your commitment fuels this community. Your brain is ready. Your future is calling. Forward, and that's not just a choice. It's a declaration. You've built habits, embraced the creator mindset, and taken ownership of your path. But let's be real. The journey to wealth isn't a straight line. It's a marathon filled with moments of doubt, exhaustion, and what I call blind zones. Those times when progress feels invisible and quitting seems like the only option. Today, we're diving into the power of persistence, the anti-quitting strategies that keep you in the game, and the breakthroughs that come when you refuse to give up. Because when you train your brain to push through, you don't just attract money, you become a force that magnetizes it. Persistence isn't glamorous. It's gritty. It's showing up when you're tired, when you're broke, when nobody believes in you but you. Eric Thomas says it best. Pain is temporary. Quitting lasts forever. Every successful person you admire, whether it's J.K. Rowling, who faced rejection after rejection, or Elon Musk, who nearly lost everything before SpaceX succeeded, they all hit blind zones. Those moments where progress felt like a myth, where giving up whispered louder than hope, but they kept going. That's why they won. Let's talk about why quitting feels so tempting. Your brain is wired to seek comfort. A 2019 study from the Journal of Neuroscience found that when you face prolonged effort without immediate results, your brain's reward system dials down, making you feel demotivated. That's the blind zone. It's not a sign you're failing. It's a test of your persistence. Breakthroughs happen on the other side of that discomfort. Thomas Edison didn't invent the light bulb in one try. It took 10,000 attempts. He didn't see failure. He saw progress. That's the mindset you need to magnetize money. Here's a real story from our community. Meet James, a graphic designer who wanted to start his art. an agency. He launched, worked nights, pitched clients, but for months nothing clicked. No clients, no income, just silence. He was in the blind zone, ready to quit. Then he heard Tony Robbins say, "The path to success is to take massive, determined action." James decided to persist. He sent one more pitch every day, even when it felt pointless. On the 47th pitch, he landed his first client. Today, his agency earned 6 figures. Why? He pushed through the blind zone. What's your blind zone right now? Pause and think. Is it the side hustle that's not gaining traction? The savings plan that feels too slow? The skill you're learning that's harder than you expected? Write it down. Share it in the comments. My blind zone is this. Naming it takes away its power. This community is here to remind you you're not alone. Let's talk anti-quitting strategies. First, reframe the grind. Persistence isn't about suffering, it's about progress. A 2020 study from Stanford found that people who view challenges as opportunities to grow are 40% more likely to stick with their goals. So when you're tired, don't say, "This is too hard." Say, "This is making me stronger." That shift in self-talk rewires your brain to keep going. Try it today. When you hit resistance, tell yourself, "I'm growing through this." Write it in the comments. My new self-talk is this. Your words shape your reality. Second, break it down. Big goals overwhelm. Small steps don't. Want to build a business? Don't focus on $1 million empire today. Just send one email to a potential client. Want to invest? Don't stress about a huge portfolio. Just save $5 this week. The Japanese concept of Kaizen, small, continuous improvements, works because it keeps you moving. A 2018 study from the University of Pennsylvania showed that incremental progress boosts motivation more than chasing big wins. So what's one small step you see and take today? Write it in the comments. My next step is this. This community thrives things in the world have been accomplished by people who kept on trying when there seemed to be no hope at all. Dale Carnegie said that, and it's a lifeline. What's one thing you're tempted to quit on? Pause and reflect. Is it worth giving up, or is it worth one more try? Share it in the comments. I'm not quitting on this. Let's hold each other accountable. Third, anchor to your why. Persistence falters when you forget your purpose. Why do you want wealth? Is it freedom for your family, security for your future, impact on your community? Your why is your fuel. Simon Sinek, in his TED Talk, says, "People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it." That applies to you. When you're in the blind zone, remind yourself why you started. Write your why on a sticky note, put it on your mirror, and read it daily. Share it in the comments. My why is this. This community is your accountability squad. Your why inspires us all. Let's talk about Rachel, a single mom who wanted to start a catering business. She worked late nights, perfecting recipes, but got no bookings for months. She was in the blind zone, ready to throw in the towel. Then she heard Mel Robbins say, "You're one decision away from a completely different life." Rachel remembered her why, to give her kids a better future. She kept going, handing out one flyer a day at local businesses. One day, a cafe owner tried her food and booked her for an event. That led to more gigs. Today, she's catering full-time. Why? She persisted past the blind zone. Your brain loves breakthroughs, but they don't come without persistence. A 2017 study from the Journal of Behavioral Decision-Making found that people who push through uncertainty are more likely to achieve unexpected wins. That's because persistence creates serendipity. The more you show up, the more opportunities find you. So keep emailing Kay. EP Learning, keep saving. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. Here's a micro action. Commit to one persistent action today. Maybe it's sending one more pitch, even after rejections. Maybe it's saving $1, even when it feels small. Write it in the comments. I'm persisting with this. When you share, you're not just committing, you're inspiring this community to keep going. Let's talk about the dip. Seth Godin, in his book, The Dip, says every worthwhile goal has a low point. The moment when quitting feels easiest, that's where most people give up. But creators push through. They know the dip is temporary. Think about J.K. Rowling. 12 publishers rejected Harry Potter. She was broke, depressed, in her own dip, but she kept submitting. The 13th publisher said yes, and the rest is history. Your dip is not your dead end, it's your proving ground. Identify it. Is it the frustration of slow progress? The sting of rejection? Write it down. Share it in the comments. My dip is this, and I'm pushing through. This community is here to lift you up. Another anti-quitting strategy. Celebrate progress, not perfection. Your brain thrives on small wins. A 2019 study from Harvard found that acknowledging small achievements boosts motivation by 30%. Sent one email? Celebrate it. Saved $10. Celebrate it. Learned one new skill? Celebrate it. Maybe it's a fist bump, a journal entry, or shouting, "I did it!" These micro rewards keep you in the game. Write in the comments, "I'm celebrating this win today." Your celebration fuels this community's fire. Finally, surround yourself with persistence. You become who you're around. If your circle quits easily, they'll drag you down. Jim Rohn said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." Seek out people who don't quit. Online mentors, podcast hosts like Ed Milet, or even this community. Follow creators on X who share their struggles and wins. Their persistence will rub off on you. Here's a story about David, a salesman who wanted to start a real estate side hustle. He studied for months but got no deals. He was in the dip, ready to quit. Then he joined an online group of entrepreneurs sharing daily wins. One member's story, closing a deal after 50 rejections, inspired David to keep going. He made one more call a day. On the 20th call, he landed his first client. Today, he's got 3 properties. Why? He surrounded himself with persistence. What's one way you'll surround yourself with persistence today? Maybe it's following a motivational account on X. Maybe it's joining a local business group. Write it in the comments, "I'm surrounding myself with this." Your choice inspires this community. As we move forward, we'll dive into controlling your environment, how your physical, social, and digital spaces shape your wealth. But for now, remember, persistence isn't about never falling. It's about getting up every time you do. You don't fail because you lack ability. You fail when you stop trying. So don't stop. Your brain is ready to magnetize money. Your breakthrough is coming. What's one thing you're persisting with right now? Pause and decide. Write it in the comments. "I'm not quitting on this. This is your moment. This community is watching." Your persistence is magnetic. And that's a testament to your persistence. You've built habits, embraced the creator mindset, and refused to quit. But let's talk about something that can make or break your journey to wealth. Your environment, the spaces you live in, the people you surround yourself with, and the digital noise you let into your mind. They're either fueling your success or draining your potential. Today, we're diving into how to control your physical, social, and digital environment to train your brain to magnetize money. Because when you shape your surroundings, you shape your future. Your environment is like the soil your dreams grow in. Poor soil, weak roots; rich soil, thriving growth. Jim Rohn said it best: you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Your environment isn't just a backdrop, it's a force that shapes your thoughts, habits, and outcomes. A 2018 study from the University of Chicago found that people in supportive environments, physically organized, socially uplifting, digitally focused, are 50% more likely to achieve their goals. Why? Because your brain absorbs what's around you. To magnetize money, you need an environment that screams possibility, not limitation. Let's start with your physical environment. A cluttered space creates a cluttered mind. If your desk is a mess, your car is chaos, or your home feels like a storage unit, it's pulling focus from your wealth goals. Psychology backs this. A 2017 study in the Journal of Neuroscience showed that visual clutter increases stress and reduces productivity. Decluttering isn't just cleaning, it's reclaiming mental space. Start small. Clear one drawer today. Organize one corner of your workspace. Donate one item that's weighing you down. These micro actions signal to your brain, "I'm in control, I'm ready for abundance." Here's a story from our community. Meet Lisa, a freelancer who wanted to scale her business but felt stuck. Her home office was a disaster. Papers everywhere, old coffee cups, distractions piling up. She kept saying, "I'll clean it later." Then she heard Mel Robbins say, "If you don't prioritize your life, someone else will." Lisa spent 1 hour decluttering her desk. Suddenly, she could think clearer. She started batching her work in that clean space, doubling her output. Within 6 months, she landed 3 new clients. Why? Her environment supported her focus. What's one physical change you can make today? Pause and think. Maybe it's clearing your desk. Maybe it's creating a dedicated space for your wealth-building work. Write it in the comments. "I'm decluttering this today." This community thrives on shared action. Your move inspires others. Now let's talk social environment. The people around you are either lifting you up or dragging dragging you down. If your friends complain about money, mock your dreams, or settle for mediocrity, they're poisoning your soil. A 2019 study from Harvard found that social networks heavily influence financial behaviors. People surrounded by savers save more. Those around spenders spend more. Audit your circle. Who's in your top 5? Do they inspire you to grow, or do they keep you stuck? You don't have to cut people out, but you do need to choose who gets your energy. Here's a micro action. Connect with one person who aligns with your wealth goals. Maybe it's messaging a mentor on X, joining a local entrepreneur group, or commenting on a motivational post. Write it in the comments. I'm connecting with this person to grow. Your social environment shapes your mindset. Choose people who make you think bigger. Surround yourself with only people who are going to lift you higher. Oprah Winfrey said that, and it's a wake-up call. Who's lifting you right now? Pause and reflect. Are your closest connections pushing you toward wealth or pulling you back? Share it in the comments. I'm choosing this person to lift me up. Let's hold each other accountable. Your phone, your laptop, your social media feeds. They're either tools for growth or traps for distraction. The average person spends over 3 hours a day on social media, according to a 2020 study by Statista. That's 3 hours of comparison, negativity, or mindless scrolling that could be spent learning, networking, or building. Your digital environment is a choice. Curate it like a creator. Unfollow accounts that make you feel small. Follow creators who inspire action. People like Anik Singhal, Gary Vee, or financial educators on X. Replace 1 hour of scrolling with a podcast like The School of Greatness. Here's a story about Mark, a retail worker who dreamed of investing but spent hours on social media. Comparing himself to influencers, he felt stuck, saying, "I'll never be like them." Then he heard Eric Thomas say, "You don't get what you want, you get what you work for." Mark audited his digital environment. He unfollowed 50 accounts that drained him and followed 10 financial educators. He swapped 30 minutes of scrolling for a daily investing podcast. Within a year, he'd saved $2,000 and made his first stock investment. Why? He controlled his digital soil. What's one digital change you can make today? Maybe it's unfollowing one toxic account. Maybe it's subscribing to a finance newsletter. Write it in the comments. I'm changing this in my digital space. This community is your accountability partner. Your action fuels our momentum. Let's talk systems. Controlling your environment isn't about one big overhaul. It's about small, intentional tweaks. In Atomic Habits, James Clear says, environment is the invisible hand that shapes human behavior. Make your environment work for you. Keep a budgeting app on your phone's home screen. Set a daily alarm to review your goals. Put a motivational quote on your desk. These micro chavasasa and guess make action easier and distraction harder. A 2018 study from the Journal of Consumer Research found that people in organized environments make better financial decisions. Why? Clarity breeds confidence. Here's a micro action. Create one environmental tweak today. Maybe it's pinning a savings tracker to your fridge. Maybe it's setting your phone to grayscale to reduce scrolling. Write it in the comments. My environmental tweak is this. When you share, you inspire this community to shape their own environments. Let's talk about Sarah, a single mom who wanted to start a blog but was surrounded by chaos. Kids' toys everywhere, constant notifications, friends who doubted her. She was overwhelmed, saying, "I can't focus." Then she heard Tony Robbins say, "Where focus goes, energy flows." Sarah took control. She decluttered one corner of her living room for writing. She silenced her phone for 30 minutes a day. She joined an online writers group. Within 6 months, her blog was earning $500 a month. Why? She engineered her environment. Physical or social, it's mental. What you feed your mind matters. A 2020 study from Stanford found that exposure to positive, goal-oriented content increases motivation by 35%. So choose your inputs wisely. Listen to podcasts like How to Money instead of news that stresses you out. Read The Millionaire Next Door instead of scrolling clickbait. Watch YouTube channels that teach wealth building, not drama. Your brain is a sponge. Feed it growth. What's one positive input you'll add today? Maybe it's a podcast, a book, or a creator on X. Pause and decide. Write it in the comments. I'm adding this input to my mind. This community thrives on shared growth. Your choice inspires us all. The environment you create determines the life you live. That's from Brendan Burchard, and it's a truth bomb. What's one part of your environment, physical, social, or digital, that's holding you back? Pause and name it. Is it a messy workspace, a negative friend, a distracting app? Share it in the comments. I'm changing this environment. Let's hold each other accountable. Finally, let's talk about consistency. Controlling your environment isn't a one-time fix. It's a daily practice. Check your space, your circle, your feeds every week. Ask, is this helping me magnetize money? If not, adjust. A 2019 study from the Journal of Behavioral Decision-Making found that people who regularly optimize their environments are 60% more likely to stick with their goals. So keep tweaking, keep curating, keep creating a space that screams wealth. Here's a story about John, a student who wanted to start a side hustle but was surrounded by distractions. Gaming apps, a cluttered dorm, friends who partied constantly. He kept saying, I'll start later. Then he heard Lewis Howes say, your life is a reflection of your standards. John set new standards. He deleted gaming apps, organized his desk, and joined a study group with ambitious peers. He started a small online store. Today, it's paying his tuition. Why? He controlled his environment. What's one standard you're setting for your environment today? Maybe it's no phones after 9 p.m. Maybe it's only spending time with people who inspire you. Write it in the comments. My new standard is this: your commitment fuels this community's fire. As we move forward, we'll dive into the growth mindset, how to reframe failure and use storytelling to transform your inner dialogue. But for now, remember, your environment is your foundation. Shape it with intention, and it will shape your wealth. You're not a product of your surroundings. You're the architect of them. Start building today. What's one change you're making to your environment right now? Write it in the comments. I'm shaping my environment by doing this. This is your moment. Your brain is ready. Your wealth is waiting. Still fighting, and that's a powerful choice. You've shaped your environment, built habits, and pushed through the blind zones of doubt. Now it's time to go deeper into the engine of transformation, your mindset. Not just any mindset, but a growth mindset that turns failures into fuel and rewrites your story to magnetize money. Today, we're diving into how to embrace a growth mindset, reframe failure as feedback, and use storytelling to shift your inner dialogue. Because when you train your brain to see every setback as a setup for success, you don't just attract wealth, you become unstoppable. Let's start with the growth mindset. Carol Dweck, in her groundbreaking book Mindset, says it's the belief that your abilities can grow through effort and learning. The opposite, a fixed mindset, says your skills and success are set in stone. People with a fixed mindset avoid challenges, fear failure, and give up easily. But those with a growth mindset, they thrive on challenges, learn from mistakes, and persist. A 2018 study from Stanford found that people with a growth mindset achieve 20% more in their goals than those who believe they're just not good enough. To magnetize money, you need to believe you can grow into the person who attracts it. Picture this. You try a side hustle and it flops. A fixed mindset says, I'm a failure. A growth mindset says, I learned what doesn't work. You pitch an idea and it's rejected. A fixed mindset says, I'm not cut out for this. A growth mindset says, I'll refine my pitch and try again. The growth mindset isn't about ignoring reality. It's about seeing every moment as a chance to improve. That's magnetic. That's what pulls opportunities and wealth towards you. Here's a real story from our community. Meet Aisha, a retail worker who dreamed of starting a baking business. Her first batch of cupcakes for a local event was a disaster. Overbaked, unsold. She could have quit thinking, I'm no good at this. But she heard Tony Robbins say, there's no such thing as failure. There's only feedback. Aisha adopted a growth mindset. She took a free online baking course, practiced daily, and tried again. Within 6 months, she was selling out at local markets. Today, her bakery is her full-time income. Why? She saw failure as a teacher, not a verdict. What's one failure you faced that you can reframe as feedback? Pause and think. Maybe it was a bad investment, a rejected job application, or a business idea that didn't take off. Write it down. Share it in the comments. My failure taught me this. This community thrives on shared growth. Your lesson inspires others. Let's talk about reframing failure. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of it. Thomas Edison didn't fail 10,000 times inventing the light bulb. He found 10,000 ways that didn't work. A 2020 study from MIT found that entrepreneurs who learn from early failures are 30% more likely to succeed in future ventures. Why? Because failure sharpens your skills, clarifies your path, and builds resilience. To magnetize money, you need to stop fearing failure and start mining it for lessons. Here's how to reframe failure. First, ask, what did I learn? Lost money on a stock? Learn to research better. Got no clients for your service? Learn to market smarter. Second, ask, what's my next step? Every failure points to an action. Third, act. Don't wallow, move. A 2019 study in the Journal of Behavioral Decision Making found that people who act quickly after a setback recover motivation faster. So don't let failure define you. Let it refine you. Here's a micro action. Pick one failure from your past and reframe it today. Write down one lesson it taught you and one action you'll take because of it. Maybe you overspent. Lesson, track X. Pences, action. Start a budget app. Share it in the comments. My lesson is this and my action is this. Your courage fuels this impact is your imagination and commitment. Tony Robbins said that, and it's a wake-up call. What failure are you letting limit you right now? Pause and reflect. Is it a past mistake holding you back? Reframe it as feedback and share it in the comments. I'm reframing this failure. Let's hold each other accountable. Now let's talk storytelling. Your inner dialogue, the story you tell yourself about who you are, shapes your reality. If your story is, I'm bad with money, or I always fail, that's what you'll live. But if your story is, I'm learning to master money, or every setback makes me stronger, you'll act like it. A 2017 study from the University of Pennsylvania found that positive self-talk increases performance by 25%. Your story is your script. Rewrite it to magnetize wealth. Here's how to shift your story. First, identify the old narrative. What do you tell yourself about money? I'll never get ahead. It's too hard. Write it down. Second, craft a new story. Instead of I'm broke, say I'm building wealth one step at a time. Instead of I failed, say I'm learning. Third, repeat it daily. Say it out loud. Write it in a journal. Stick it on your mirror. Your brain believes the stories you repeat. Let's talk about Mike, a salesman who wanted to invest but kept losing money. His story was, I'm terrible with investments. He was stuck avoiding the market. Then he heard Mel Robbins say, change your story, change your life. Mike rewrote his narrative. I'm learning to invest wisely. He started small, reading one investing article a day, practicing with a $50 stock. Within a year, he'd built a small portfolio. Why? He changed his story, and his actions followed. What's your old story about money? Pause and identify it. What's the new story you're choosing? Write it in the comments. My new story is this. This community is your accountability squad. Your story inspires us all. Let's talk systems. A growth mindset thrives on habits. Set up systems to reinforce your new story. Keep a journal to track lessons from failures. Set a daily reminder to say your new story. I'm growing into wealth. Surround yourself with stories of growth. Podcasts like The Ed Milet Show, books like Think and Grow Rich, or creators on X who share their wins. A 2018 study from Harvard found that exposure to positive role models boosts growth mindset by 30%. Feed your brain stories of possibility. Here's a micro action. Create one system to support your growth mindset today. Maybe it's a daily journal prompt. What did I learn today? Maybe it's following one financial mentor on X. Write it in the comments. My growth system is this. When you share, you're building a community of growth. Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. Henry Ford said that, and it's a lifeline. What's one failure you're ready to begin again from? Pause and decide. Share it in the comments. I'm starting again with this. Let's lift each other up. Let's talk about Sarah, a teacher who wanted to start a tutoring business but failed her first attempt. Her website crashed and she lost clients. Her old story was, I'm not tech savvy. She could have quit. Instead, she heard Eric Thomas say, you don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for. Sarah rewrote her story. I'm learning tech to grow my business. She took a free coding course, rebuilt her site, and relaunched. Today, she's tutoring 20 students a week. Why? She embraced failure as feedback and rewrote how it makes sense of the world. A 2020 study from the Journal of Cognitive Neuroscience found that narrative-based self-talk improves goal persistence. So tell yourself a better story. Instead of I can't, say I'm learning how. Instead of I'm stuck, say I'm on my way. Repeat it until it's who you are. What's one new story you're telling yourself today? today, pause, and decide. Maybe it's I'm becoming a money magnet. Write it in the comments. My new story is this. This community thrives on shared transformation. Your story fuels our fire. Finally, celebrate your growth. Every time you reframe a failure or shift your story, you're rewiring your brain. A 2019 study from the Journal of Positive Psychology found that celebrating small mindset shifts boosts motivation by 40%. So celebrate. High-five yourself for learning from a mistake. Share your progress in the comments. I grew today by doing this. Your wins inspire this community. As we move forward, we'll dive into small wins and consistency, how tiny actions compound into massive results. But for now, remember, your mindset is your magnet. Reframe failure, rewrite your story, and watch wealth flow to you. You're not defined by your setbacks. You're defined by how you grow through them. What's one mindset shift you're making right now? Write it in the comments. My growth mindset shift is this. This is your moment. Your brain is ready. Your wealth is waiting. No small victory. You've rewired your mindset, shaped your environment, and pushed through the hard moments. Now it's time to harness the most powerful force in your journey to wealth. Small wins. Not the big, flashy breakthroughs, but the tiny, consistent actions that stack up like bricks in a fortress. Today we're diving into the psychology of small wins, the magic of consistency, and how momentum builds a life that magnetizes money. Because when you show up daily, even in the smallest ways, you train your brain to attract abundance like never before. Let's start with a truth. Big results come from small actions. The world celebrates the overnight success, but the real story is in the daily grind. James Clear, in Atomic Habits, says habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. $1 saved today doesn't feel like much, but do it daily, and in a year you've got $365. One email sent to a client doesn't seem big, but send one every day and you're building a network. A 2018 study from the University of Chicago found that consistent small actions are 60% more effective for long-term success than sporadic big efforts. Why? Because small wins rewire your brain for progress. Your brain loves small wins. Neuroscience backs this. Every time you complete a small task, your brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical that makes you want to do it again. That's why checking off a to-do list feels so good. It's not just about the task. It's about training your brain to crave progress. Want to magnetize money? Stack small wins. Save $1 today. Read one financial article. Send one pitch. These tiny actions compound into massive results, turning you into a wealth magnet. Here's a real story from our community. Meet Priya, a single mom who wanted to start a side hustle selling handmade candles. She kept saying, I don't have time. Then she heard Mel Robbins say, you're one decision away from a completely different life. Priya started small, 10 minutes a day crafting one candle. She sold her first one to a neighbor, then another. Within 6 months, she had an online store bringing in $800 a month. Why? She stacked small wins until they became unstoppable momentum. What's one small win you can claim today? Pause and think. Maybe it's saving $2. Maybe it's learning one new money term. Write it in the comments. My small win today is this. This community thrives on shared victories. Your win inspires us all. Consistency is the glue that holds small wins together. It's not about being perfect. It's about being persistent. A 2019 study from the Journal of Behavioral Medicine found that people who stick to small daily actions are 73% more likely to achieve their goals. Why? Consistency builds momentum, and momentum is magnetic. Think about a snowball rolling downhill. It starts small, but with every turn, it grows bigger, faster, stronger. That's you when you show up daily. Here's how to build consistency. First, make it easy. Pick actions so small you can't fail. Want to save? Start with $1 a week. Want to grow a business? Spend 5 minutes a day researching. James Clear calls this the 2-minute rule. Start with a habit that takes 2 minutes or less. Second, track it. Use a notebook, an app, or a calendar. Mark every day you complete your action. Seeing those check marks triggers dopamine, making consistency addictive. Third, tie it to your identity. Don't just say, I'm saving money. Say, I'm a saver. That shift makes consistency part of who wanted to invest but felt overwhelmed. He kept saying, I'll start when I have more money. Then he heard Eric Thomas say, you don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for. Alex started small, $5 a month into a savings app. He tracked it on a calendar, celebrating every deposit. deposit. Within a year, he had $60 and opened a micro investing account. Today, he's investing $50 a month. Why? He built consistency through small wins. What's one consistent action you're committing to today? Pause and decide. Maybe it's checking your budget daily. Maybe it's learning one new skill a week. Write it in the comments. My consistent action is this. Your commitment fuels this community's fire. Success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. Robert Collier said that, and it's a law of wealth. What small effort are you repeating today? Pause and reflect. Share it in the comments. My daily effort is this. Let's hold each other accountable. Momentum is where the magic happens. Once you stack small wins and stay consistent, momentum takes over. It's like pushing a car. It's hard at first, but once it's rolling, it's hard to stop. A 2020 study from Stanford found that momentum from small wins increases self-efficacy, the belief you can succeed, by 35%. That belief is what magnetizes money. The more you act, the more you believe you can act. The more you believe, the more opportunities you attract. Here's a story about Maria, a teacher who wanted to start a tutoring business but kept stalling. She felt her progress was too slow. Then she heard Tony Robbins say, "Where focus goes, energy flows." Maria focused on one small win, tutoring one student a week. She tracked her sessions, celebrated each one, and kept going. That one student led to referrals. Within a year, she had 15 students and quit her day job. Why? Her small why. And has built momentum that became unstoppable. How can you build momentum today? Start with one action. Maybe it's emailing one potential client. Maybe it's saving $1. Make it small, track it, and celebrate it. Write it in the comments. I'm building momentum with this. This community thrives on shared energy. Your momentum inspires us all. Let's talk about the psychology of momentum. Your brain loves patterns. When you repeat small wins, you create a feedback loop. Action, dopamine, more action. A 2017 study from the Journal of Neuroscience found that celebrating small wins boosts motivation by 40%. So don't just act, celebrate. Finish your daily habit, give yourself a fist bump, save $5, write it down and smile. Share your win in the comments. I'm celebrating this today. Your celebration fuels this community's momentum. Jerry Seinfeld, talking about his comedy career, said he wrote one joke a day and marked an X on a calendar for each day he did it. His rule? Don't break the chain. Apply that to your wealth journey. Pick one daily action, saving, learning, networking, and don't break the chain. Miss a day? Don't miss two. A 2019 study from University College London found that consistency in small habits builds automaticity, making actions effortless over time. Here's a micro action. Start your chain today. Pick one small action. Maybe checking your expenses for 2 minutes or reading one money tip. Mark it on a calendar or app. Write it in the comments. My chain starts with this. When you share, you're not just committing. You're inspiring this community to keep their chains going. Let's talk about John, a delivery driver who wanted to start a YouTube channel but kept saying, "I'm not ready." He was stuck, waiting for perfection. Then he heard Lewis Howes say, "You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great." John started small, 1 2-minute video a week. He tracked his uploads, celebrated each one, and kept going. Within a year, he had 1,000 subscribers and ad revenue. Why? His small wins built a chain of momentum. What's one chain you're starting today? Pause and decide. Maybe it's a daily savings habit. Maybe it's a weekly outreach. Write it in the comments. My chain is this. This community is your accountability squad. Your chain strengthens us all. Finally, protect your momentum. Distractions, doubt, and negativity can derail you. A 2018 study from the Journal of Consumer Research found that people who minimize distractions are 50% more likely to maintain consistency. So guard your small wins. Turn off notifications for 30 minutes while you work. Say no to one time waster today. Surround yourself with people who cheer your progress. Like this community, your momentum is your magnet. Keep it rolling. What's one distraction you're cutting today to protect your momentum? Pause and think. Maybe it's skipping social media for an hour. Maybe it's saying no to a draining friend. Write it in the comments. I'm cutting this distraction. Your focus inspires this community. As we move forward, we'll wrap up with a powerful call to action, a haunting reflection that every moment is a chance to begin again. But for now, remember, small wins, stacked consistently, create unstoppable momentum. You're not just acting, you're becoming a money magnet. Every choice choice, every check mark, every step forward is a vote for your wealthy self. What's one small win you're committing to right now? Write it in the comments. My small win is this. This is your moment. Your brain is ready. Your wealth is waiting. And that alone is a victory. You faced your fears, shattered excuses, claimed responsibility, and built habits that stack small wins into unstoppable momentum. You've rewired your brain, shaped your environment, and embraced a growth mindset that turns setbacks into stepping stones. Now it's time to bring it all together, to reflect on the power you hold, to commit to the path ahead, and to realize that every moment is a chance to begin again. This is your call to action, your haunting reminder that you don't fail because you lack ability. You fail when you refuse to start again. Let's close this chapter with fire in our hearts and a vision for the wealth you're destined to magnetize. Let's take a moment to feel this. Close your eyes. Picture the life you want. Not just the money, but the freedom, the impact, the legacy. See it clearly. The house you live in, the people you help, the confidence you carry. That vision isn't a dream. It's a blueprint. Every step you've taken in this journey, every small win, every habit, every choice to push through doubt has been a brick in that foundation. You're not just chasing wealth, you're building it, one deliberate action at a time. And the most powerful truth, you can start again right now, no matter where you are. This journey hasn't been easy. You faced the hard truths, your fears, your procrastination, your old stories, but you're still here. That's not luck, that's courage. Eric Thomas says, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, you'll be successful. You're breathing right now, aren't you? That's proof you've got what it takes. The question is, what are you going to do with this moment? Because every second is a fresh start, a new chance to choose the creator mindset, to act, to magnetize money. Let's reflect on what you've learned. You've discovered that consistency beats motivation every time. Small wins like saving $1 a day or learning one new skill compound into extraordinary results. A 2018 study from the University of Chicago showed that consistent small actions are 60% more effective than sporadic big efforts. That's why you don't need a big break. You need small steps taken daily. You've learned that your environment, physical, social, digital, shapes your thoughts, and you've started curating it to support your wealth. You've embraced a growth mindset, reframing failures as feedback, and rewritten your story to say, I'm becoming a money magnet. Here's a real story from our community. Meet David, a factory worker who dreamed of financial freedom but felt stuck. He'd start and stop, blaming his long hours. Then he heard Mel Robbins say, you're one decision away from a completely different life. David decided to start again. He committed to one small win, saving $5 a week. He tracked it, celebrated it, and kept going. He used his breaks to listen to financial podcasts, swapping negativity for knowledge. Within a year, he had $260 saved and started a side hustle fixing cars. Today, he's debt-free and growing his business. Why? He chose to start again every single day. What's one small win you've achieved on this journey? Pause and reflect. Maybe it's the habit you started, the distraction you cut, or the failure you reframed. Write it in the comments. My win is this. This community thrives on shared victories. Your win lights a fire for us all. Every moment is a fresh beginning. T.S. Eliot said that, and it's a haunting truth. What's one moment you're seizing right now to start again? Pause and decide. Share it in the comments. I'm starting again with this. Let's hold starting again. Life will knock you down. Rejections, setbacks, doubts. But the difference between those who magnetize money and those who stay stuck is simple. Creators get back up. A 2020 study from Stanford found that people who persist after setbacks are 35% more likely to achieve their goals. That's you. Every time you choose to act, to learn, to try again, you're training your brain to attract wealth. You're not defined by your falls. You're defined by your comebacks. Here's how to start again, right now. First, recommit to one small action. Maybe it's saving $1 today. Maybe it's sending one email to a potential client. Make it so small you can't fail. Second, celebrate it. Your brain loves rewards. Give yourself a fist bump, a check mark, or a shout of, I did it. A 2019 study from the Journal of Positive Psychology found that celebrating small wins boosts motivation by 40%. Third, share it. Write in the comments. I'm starting starting again with this action. This community is your accountability squad. Your comeback inspires us all. Let's talk about Sarah, a nurse who wanted to start a blog but kept failing. Her first post got no views, and she felt like giving up. Then she heard Tony Robbins say, "The only thing keeping you from getting what you want is the story you keep telling yourself." Sarah rewrote her story. "I'm learning to connect with my audience." She started again, posting one article a week, tweaking based on feedback. Within a year, her blog had 5,000 monthly readers and ad revenue. Why? She refused to stay down. What's one thing you're starting again on? Pause and think. Maybe it's a side hustle you abandoned, a savings plan you dropped, or a skill you stopped learning. Write it in the comments. I'm restarting this. Your commitment fuels this community's momentum. Now let's talk about your legacy. Magnetizing money is just about you. It's about the impact you create, the freedom to live on your terms, to support your family, to give back. Every small win, every consistent action, every moment you start again is a step toward that legacy. A 2017 study from Harvard found that people driven by a sense of purpose are 50% more likely to persist in their goals. So what's your purpose? Why do you want wealth? Is it to travel the world, to fund your kids' education, to change your community? Hold that vision. It's your fuel. Here's a micro action. Write down your purpose for wealth. Be specific. Maybe it's I want to buy a home for my family. Maybe it's I want to donate to my local charity. Put it on a sticky note, your phone, your mirror. Read it daily. Share it in the comments. My purpose is this. This community thrives on shared vision. Your purpose inspires us all. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. Martin Luther King Jr. said that, and it's a call to action. What's your first step right now? Pause and decide. Share it in the comments. My first step is this. Let's lift each other up. Let's talk about momentum one last time. You've built it through small wins, consistency, and persistence. Now protect it. Life will try to derail you. Distractions, doubts, naysayers. But you're stronger than that. A 2018 study from the Journal of Consumer Research found that people who minimize distractions maintain momentum 50% longer. So say no to one time waster today. Turn off notifications for 30 minutes. Skip that extra coffee run and save the $5. Write it in the comments. I'm protecting my momentum by doing this. Your focus fuels. Meet Rachel, a student who wanted to start a freelance writing business but kept stalling. Afraid of failing again, she tried before and got no clients. Then she heard Lewis Howes say, "Your life is a reflection of your standards." Rachel raised her standards. She started again, writing one pitch a day, celebrating each send. She joined an online writers group for accountability. Within 6 months, she had 5 clients and was earning $2,000 a month. Why? She chose to start again every day. What's one thing you're choosing to start again on right now? Pause and decide. Maybe it's a habit you let slip. Maybe it's a dream you shelved. Write it in the comments. I'm choosing this. This is your moment to shine. This community is watching. As we close, let this sink in. You don't fail because you lack ability. You fail when you refuse to start again. Every moment is a fresh start. Every choice is a chance to magnetize money. You've got the tools, small wins, consistency, a growth mindset, a curated environment. Now it's on you. Take one action today. Make it small, make it real, make it yours. Then come back tomorrow and do it again. That's how you become a money magnet. What's one action you're taking right now to start again? Write it in the comments. I'm starting with this. This isn't just a video, it's a movement. Your brain is ready, your wealth is waiting, your legacy is calling. Go build it.